So very good afternoon to everyone. We are very delighted to have Mr. Adityam Datta today with us. Mr. Adityam Datta is currently serving as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemical and Petroleum Engineering, School of Chemical Engineering and Physical Sciences, Lovely Professional University. Having done his masters from Pandit Dindayal Petroleum University, he has his interest in the field of enhanced oil recovery and drilling engineering. Mr. Datta, also having a graduate degree in the field of petroleum engineering, had longed for being a part of the teaching fraternity and is now pursuing his aspiration in academia. Having won the 2019 SP Regional Student Chapter Student Paper Consent South Asia Division for the presented on wettability studies and estimation of capillary pressure on heterogeneous bioturbidited sandstones from the Kutch Basin, India. He had been offered a fully sponsored trip by SP to Calgary, Canada, for the 2019 SP Annual Technical Conference and Exhibition. Currently, he is indulged in imparting academic and lab-based concept of the oil and gas industry to the undergraduate students of Lovely Professional University. Pursuing their careers in petroleum engineering and chemical engineering, apart from his teaching responsibilities, Mr. Datta is greatly involved in formulating ideas into patents and IPRs, along with the members of the team ideation of LPU, and has so far published 7 patents in his name in the Indian Patent Journal. He hails from Jorhat, Assam, which is greatly surrounded by oil and gas fields, contributing towards the nation's domestic hydrocarbon production. Apart from his academic and professional background, Mr. Datta is an avid adventure enthusiast who has undergone courses on mountaineering, rock climbing, and adventure courses. He wishes to unravel the scenic destinations of Northeast India that is yet to be explored by the world and plans on writing a comprehensive book about it. So I'm greatly happy to have you, sir, today. And mostly the last thing enriched me a lot because I'm from Northeast too. And seriously, we have very little exposure over here. But I also feel that someday we'll be on the top and we'll be on the boards.
Surely, Amok brother. Thank you for introducing me, and most importantly, thank you to the team of Petrovidya for inviting me for this interview. Manav, who has been in constant touch with me regarding this session, not an interview but in session actually, right?
Yeah, so it's like a session.
Thank you. And Amok brother, as you have rightly said, that lots of things are there in Northeast, to be very honest, to be very true. But it has to be explored, it has to be sent out to the people, right? So maybe shootings of films or any scenic destinations or holiday destinations, the same can be found in Northeast India as well, right? But unfortunately, because of some of the other complications, we have been missing those things. But to be very sure, I think in the coming days, definitely something might be coming up. Right, obviously.
Who knows? One day we might organize a session in Northeast only from Petrovidya.
Can be. Anything is possible now. Anything is possible now, and anything is anything is achievable right now. Right.
Very true. Yeah. Very truly said. So, sir, I would like to start with the questions actually now.
Yes, yes.
Sure. So the first question, sir, is very general, and the thing is, since you opted petroleum engineering in 2013,
right,
what makes you motivate to take this branch? As many of the students still is unaware of this branch.
Right. Actually, it's a very embarrassing question in a way, Amukta, because it was during 2013 or 11, I think we started seeing the recession of the oil and gas industry, right? But to be very honest, means I didn't knew, to be very frank. Even my father, who consulted me with this decision to go for oil and gas or petroleum engineering, even he was not aware. But my likeness towards this course was because of the fact, I think it might be for you as well, Amok brother, since we are from Northeast, Tripura is also having some, some good oil and gas fields, right? Also, even Jorhat is surrounded by oil and gas fields, and neighboring Sipsagar or the Rudrasagar fields are there, right? So at times, whenever I used to visit my hometown or visit some nearby places or villages, I used to see some drilling rigs going on, means operations going on there. I used to see the sucker rod pump, which I only came to know that it's called as a sucker rod pump after I opted for petroleum engineering. Or else I used to always say that there is some beam which is just moving up and down. That's what I used to tell people. Right.
Yeah.
So my father, he belonged from the coal chemistry background. He served as a technical officer as well as a scientist in CSIR, Nordic Institute of Technology. Right. So he was also from a mining background, from an energy background. But what he suggested is was like, means you go for oil and gas. So with that thought, I opted for this oil and gas engineering. To be more specific, it's petroleum engineering. But again, like I've told you, I had no idea what was going on in 2013. But only after I took admissions, only after the interest started getting into me, then I started following the news, like what is going on in the industry. And then I came to know that it was almost a wrong decision that I might have taken, because it was at that point of time when the oil prices started to dip down, right? So, but still, and then I had a lot of consultations or discussions with my father and along with my other family members. Few of them are in ONGC and Oil India, but that's what, based on their suggestions and their, what to say, support, I tried to, I took this gamble. I took this gamble and I just thought, let's see, whatever happens, it will happen. So then I continued on. Even we were suggested in the university also. I happened to be the first batch from local university who started in 2013, right? So back then also, time and again, we were being forced towards like changing our domain. Like you change your domains, it has hardly any future now because it's like dipping down. So many a times we were being influenced, but still I kept to my ground. I held to my ground, and then I ended up with my BTech. And then again, I went to PDPU for my master's. And from then on, the journey continues and it's still going on. Right.
That was really inspiring, sir. I think you also gave the answer, like you gave some tips for the answer to many of the students, because a lot of them ask that.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, because right, it's very uncommon actually. Means many a times whenever we say or whenever someone asks, "Bete kya kar rahe ho tum?" or like what you're doing or what you're studying. What we end up, uncle, I'm studying or I'm pursuing petroleum engineering. Petroleum engineering, ye kya hota hai, or what is this? So, and first of all, what the thing comes into the mind is petroleum engineering is the petrol pumps or the refuel stations.
Exactly.
That's what means. We should not blame them. That is what they have seen. So because the states which are producing hydrocarbons, right? It's few of the northeastern states, Gujarat, Mumbai is there, Rajasthan is there. Apart from that, Andhra is also there. Yes, Rajamundry is there. But apart from that, the other people, they hardly have an understanding about this domain. So they straight away ask you, like, what is this? What is it? Kya karte ho? And from there on, it was kind of a challenge also, like how to make them understand, how to make them accept this course, accept this domain. So that was a bit of a kind of challenge for me. I think it was a challenge for you people also, because at times many of our relatives also ask, right? Like, what are you up to now? Right. So that's what, life is still a roller coaster for me, and I guess it's the same for all the petroleum engineering students.
Definitely, sir.
Still, people like generalize petroleum engineering with Middle East. That's what I come to hear a lot. Like,
right.
You
just finish off your degrees. Right. Right. That's what, you just finish off your degrees and UAE is waiting for you. That's what the people think. Right.
Yeah.
But we know, like after finishing our degrees, what happens? We know very truly, like what happens after we finish our 4 years degree or 2 years of master's also.
Right.
Right.
So Manav will be taking the toss from my hand now.
Yeah. So as you have experience in oil and gas industry, quite many times here. So the next question is, what did you observe in the change in the scenario of the oil and gas industry from 2013 to 2020, and how it affects a petroleum engineer?
See, Manav, first of all, the most common thought which we people might be having in both the cases are like depression in a way, sense of dejection. Like
Yeah.
back in 2013 also, it was like recession for the oil and gas industry. 2020 also the same thing happened, be it for some other causes, be it for some virus or for some outbreaks, or be it for the change in the currency system or the booming production of the US. But at the end,
Yeah.
the outcome is like the crude oil prices have fell down. But this time, very surprisingly, it went below $0 also,
Yeah.
right? So there might be lots of factors for this case, but as a whole, to conclude our feelings, to conclude our understanding or like our expectations from this course, it was a complete dejection which we had. Like this was completely unacceptable, because back in 2013 also we saw the same thing, right? Or I mean, back in the 2010 also we saw the same thing. Now also the same thing is happening. So in a way, what I will conclude is like whatever the aspirations we people had, whatever expectations we had, like okay, fine. Now the crude oil prices are stabilizing. It's stabilizing. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
From $27 a barrel, it went up to 35 also, and it was
Yeah.
improving.
It's currently it's
There was a
around
slight
40 to $45 also.
Right, right. It went up to 45 also, right. But then again, now it has like come down to zero, and then it's coming to a negative price. So what to say now? Means that's what, to sum up your question in this regard, I'll say ki it's like all our expectations have been shattered, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for this question. Next question is you won the SP 2019 Regional Student Paper Contest. So can you throw some light on that? What you presented over there?
Right. Manav, in this regard, first of all, I mean, let's highlight this fact that PDPU has been the winner for this Masters RSPC for the 2 consecutive times this time. 2019 it was me, and 2020 it was Anirudh Bardhan.
Yeah, definitely.
You well know about him, right? So
Yes.
this is in a way, it's what to say, it's an achievement for PDPU also, because at least I mean we saw participation in the masters level, even though participation from undergraduates were expected to be high, but there might be some constraints because of which our students or our juniors might not have been able to deliver the thing, right? So first of all, that's what means, it's achievement for us as well as for PDP also, right? And coming to the question now, I worked on the topic of bioturbation. It is a method, or it's an approach of reservoir characterization, but it's mostly it is having its roots towards paleontology or to the geological aspect. My guide, Dr. Bhavani Singh Desai, is serving as an associate professor, right? So he is actively working in this project. He is actively working on this domain, and especially in India. This concept is completely new in a way, because most of the geologists or most of the paleontologists, they do know about bioturbation or like reservoir characterization because of bioturbation. But for the oil and gas sector, for the petroleum engineers, or for the people in the oil and gas industry, it is completely new. I mean, to be very honest, means our Indian industry is very much less aware about bioturbation and we have to do a compulsory 1-year dissertation work. So I happened to take up that topic, and then we were working, or we were in middle of the conclusion, and then this thing came up, like the notification for the students paper contest. And then he inspired me. He at least write something. Let's see what happens or what comes up. At least let's try to make the people aware, or at least try to enlighten this topic among the contestants or the people that might be attending this event. So with that view, I started writing an abstract, and then with give inputs and like support from Bhavani sir and his research scholar also. I mean Ajendra Singh. So I put up an abstract, but unfortunately, the student paper contest is having one rule that there has to be only a single author. So whosoever was guiding you or whosoever was supporting or helping you in the topic, they can be mentioned only in the acknowledgement. So that was something which still concerns me, because since it was not my work, it was a part of my guide's work which I have represented. So that thing will forever it will be etched in my memory. That means I couldn't represent my guide's name in the paper or in that work. But still, through the acknowledgement, I did acknowledge him to the fullest. So what I did was I tried to bring up this concept, like how did bioturbation or how is bioturbation affecting the characteristics of fluid flow? Because whenever we are going for simulation studies, we are looking at the trend of fluid flow, like how is the multiphase fluid flow occurring in the subsurface or in the pay zone, or suppose if it's a secondary or a tertiary recovery from the injector towards the producer, what might be the nature of fluid flow, based on which we can design the recovery plan. So based on that, we tried bringing up a model. We started working on the samples of Kutch Basin, which has recently, it has started commencing its production of gas, natural gas from it. So from that perspective, I happened to interact with lots of people in the event. Then there were lots of views regarding this. There were lots of debate regarding this and lots of discussions. And after competing with two more people who were from ISM, and one happened to be a person who was sponsored by Schlumberger, but I don't recall his institute's name as of now. So we three were there in that contest, and then after much suspense, I came out to be the winner. So that also, in a way, it was a surprise to me. Like, was I really, what to say? I mean, I don't know, means what made them choose me, but still it was a surprise for me. But then, yes, means from there onwards, I started to gain confidence in it. And then after winning the contest in the Masters division, I did happen to get the chance to visit Calgary. Then the paper was presented, and then it was a great experience, to be very honest. But unfortunately, Anirudh won't be getting that same experience because of the lockdown that has crippled the entire worldwide industries, right? So this time, I feel pity for him. As much as I was very happy for him since he secured the first place again, like it was a consecutive win for PDP. But at the same time, I feel sad for him. Like despite of his hard work, despite of his dedication for this work, he did get the chance, but still he didn't get the chance. So that's why, right?
No issues. It was really nice of you to hear from you that you are involved in paleontology, sir. Actually, because
yes, actually it's complicated, but means I have an interest not in terms of memorizing the names, not in terms of understanding the structures, but yes, it fascinates me. I don't know why, because after looking at the samples or at the outcrop samples that sir used to get from Kutch, and he used to, in a way, it's like an exhibition in his lab, in his geoscience lab. So that's what fascinates me, to be very honest. But
we also have that things in, like, we have a Kutch trip. The second year students of BTech actually have, we are taken to a Kutch trip, I guess. I guess you know. So even there, my love for paleontology exploded. We used to feel like that Dr. Alan Grant from that Jurassic Park. And I even bought some samples in my home, and when I showed it to my like friends, like, see, it's from before the period when dinosaurs existed. It was, they were like awestruck. How did you get it? Like, I might have a lot of gemstones. Might have a cat's eye or amethyst in my hand, but you have something really valuable. And it's kind of cool. It's very cool, to be honest.
Right. Seriously, means I completely agree with you. Means it's not an achievement, but to be very honest, it's cool. Be it in the formal way or just in the casual way, it's cool. For both the cases, right? Means this is a thing which others don't, or others might not understand also, or the others might not get a chance also. So that is what we got from PDP. When this, I think we can't ever forget about that. So right,
Very true.
and
That's
that's right.
very true.
Just the way it fascinated you from that field trip, the same way it fascinated me also. But that's what I'm skipping the part of remembering the names and the different classifications. Right.
That's the difficult part, the biological part. I was interested in biology in my class 12, but the naming, the nomenclature was very difficult.
Very true. The same case was with me also. The same case was with me also. I managed to pass the subject always. Later on, my parents said, at least try something, push a bit hard, at least like not, means in the boards, obviously you can't just cross the border. So at least get something which is respectable. So, okay, fine. If suppose if it's something from the parents, so you can't just like,
Like to continue?
Hello.
Yeah. One of you there?
Yeah. Sorry, I just lost my connection. Sorry for that. So moving on to the other. Apart from this, you have also 7 patents filed on your name. So what makes you feel motivated towards the academics to the research? Because what happens nowadays that student came into the mindset that they complete their 4-year undergraduates and they just start any business or do some job over there. So what makes you fascinated to step it towards the research part?
okay. Bharat, to be very frank, since it's a discussion, so I'll just open up my mind now. First of all, I was very scared. First of all, I was very scared when I was put into that team ideation, which you have mentioned in my bio. So team ideation, it's a group of 20 to 25 people. I mean, mostly they're faculties, and is being guided by our dean of our faculty. I mean, he's guiding our sciences block, entire sciences schools and the engineering schools also. So he made a team of 20 people or 25 people from different domains. So I don't know, surprisingly, my HOD, he nominated me. He just gave me a call and he said, Dean is having a meeting, just go and attend. So I thought it might be a random meeting or it might be some coordinators meeting, which means normally we have at times. So I just ran away. And when I sat beside the dean, then when I came to know that it's a meeting regarding patent generation or IPR generation. So that time I was just scratching my head, to be very honest. And then I couldn't speak in front of the dean also, I mean, expressing my inability. And then I went to my reporting head, and I told him, like, sir, means you asked me to attend a meeting, that I know, but you didn't say it was a meeting regarding patents. I have just passed out from my master's, which is still in the academic phase. Now you're pushing me to the hardcore research phase. Like patent is something not to like have a joke about it, right? So he said, just go and see. Try to enjoy the time you have. If you enjoy, it's well and good, or else like you can come back. You can retract your name. You can nominate someone else also. And okay, fine. Then I started off with few days. I was very much lagging behind because others were most of them were like experienced faculty. At least if not 5 to 6 years, then at least they were like 2, 3, or like at least 1.5 years more experienced than me. So by looking at their pace, by looking at the discussions, in a way I was demotivated at first. And then slowly and steadily, I don't know what came into my mind that, okay, fine, because we were being allotted targets also at times. Like by today, if you're not finishing off with at least one idea, you're not leaving this office, you're not leaving the room, you're not leaving the campus. So in a way, because of that fear, I started to take the pace. And then slowly, when my hands were completely set on it, my mind was completely fixed or focused into that IPR filing and the patent ideation. So from that time onwards, my mind was very much diverted towards the research field. And people, they might be thinking that patent is something which is creating something new, which is completely new for the folks, completely new for the society, and it will be forever with you. It's nothing like that. Patent is simply an innovation which might not have been there before, or which might have been there before, but it was not in the improvised form. So that's what means the improvisation is what we call it as the patent actually. So through that means I ended up filing 7 patents. To be very honest, surprisingly, means it was a shock to me also. Like how come the guy which was very much reluctant to go for the meetings or reluctant to submit or any ideas. So and then I ended up with 7 patents. So that's what gave me the motivation to come towards the research field straight away from the academia. Because teaching is something very much different from what we are indulging in patent filing or in like thinking about IPRs. So that's what made me divert my mind, and by now I think that I'm very much comfortable with it. So currently the team ideation, we are having a certain target. Means what we have decided is like we will be going ahead with like more than 400 ideas. I mean there are 20 to 25 people as I've said. So each member will be contributing some 15 to 20 good ideas. So let's see what comes up again. But definitely means once we set foot or once we set our mind in one specific direction, I think that's when our motivation gets the pace. That's when our intentions change. So that's what, Manav, means that's all I can say. Means what motivated me to shift from academia towards research. But
Yeah.
yes, at the same time, I'm very much reluctant to pursue my PhD again. So going for IPR filing is a different thing, right? But like someone, we suppose if I'm being suggested like go for PhDs, but for that I'm still reluctant. So my interest towards IPR filing or towards patent formulation is a different thing, and my interest towards pursuing research, which is a pure form of PhD, which is a pure form of research. That is also a different mindset which I'm having about. So that's what I want to clear with you people. Like if you're having this impression that he might be interested in some PhD or PDF work, so completely, it's not a no, but I'm very much reluctant on it. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very motivating, actually, sir. Like during this lockdown period, what we search for is motivation. We are not having, and that was the key point of having this session, like to give
Right.
others and also
We just wait
right.
for him.
No issue, sir. Then let me continue with that. So, sir, we have heard that you are also planning to write a comprehensive book. May we know about that a bit?
Yes, Amograta. The book is all about exploring Northeast. That's what we discussed at the very beginning. So that book is completely out of my profession, out of my context also. So that's what means. Like I told you, you also you'll agree to this fact. Means every Northeasterners will agree to this fact. We are having lots of destinations in Northeast, right?
Amazing.
Right. And it's just now recently because of the tactical movements or the tactical escalations we are having in the northeastern part of India. People might be taking some interest because of which they happen to know about Arunachal also. They happen to know about Nagaland also, right? They also happen to know about Bangladesh and the issue that is going on in Assam also, maybe. Right? So, but that's a different context. But what I was interested in is like there are lots of unexplored places, to be very honest. Recently, when you might be following about the news of Bagjan blow, maybe you might have you might have come across this lake, or there was freshwater. I mean, there was yes, Maguri bill. That's what we call it in the local language, right? So that was very, what to say? It was a very good population species we had there, which is completely devastated by now. And recently, one more name might have come up in the media. It was the Dehing Patkai Reserve.
Yes.
For which Oil India secrets to undergo some directional drilling operations. But because of the hesitation, again, I think they might be skipping or they might be delaying it. So, but see, the things are coming up. The places are being identified. They are being introduced to the public, but it's in the wrong way. That's what I feel. Because they are coming to know about Arunachal, or they are coming to know about Tawang, or maybe about Shillong or Nagaland also. But it's in a different perspective, it's in a different perception which they're coming to know. So my aim is to like, means first let's explore for myself. Let's see, let's see what the places has to offer to me. And based on that, means we'll have some interactions with the common folks. We'll have the interactions with the different tribes and the ethnic people we are having. Because Northeast as a whole is the home to many
Lot of tribes.
places,
In
right?
Tripura only we have 17 different
That's
tribes.
right. That's right. In Tripura, you're having 17 different tribes or ethnicities, right? In Nagaland also, it's completely filled up. Assam is a mixed amalgamation of the hilly people as well as the plain people. So that is what I'm having in my mind now. So like this lockdown is still going on, it's good, but I don't think in lockdown I might be able to like conceptualize my dream. But in the coming days, obviously, after I earn some if I'm able to save some good money for my trip and for my project, then definitely means this is what I have in my mind. If not me, then at least I will ask, or at least I will push other people who are interested in this project. So, and we will make sure that each and every aspect of Northeast is covered. So that is what I have in my mind. So I think by that way, maybe the earlier perception which the people or the mainland India, which we people call it at times, so that might change. So that's what my intention is, just to bridge the changes or the differences, be it in the ethnicity or the culture or in the upbringings we people have in Northeast, in contrast to the mainland India. So that's what we need to change, right? So let's see. So this is what I have in my mind. So I suppose I start to get some support also, it's well and good. Or else I'll start pushing other people. I'll start selling my idea to other people. Like, you take the credit, no issues. But at least the intention should be Northeast should be understood by the other people. That's it. Simple. Right.
That's a noble work, sir. That's a noble
That's
work.
right.
And thanks a lot for that.
That's what. Let's see now what comes up in the future. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow Amok brother might also come up with this same intention.
I'll be happy to join you, sir, in that. I'll be happy to join.
Right. I will take this pride, because maybe after this interaction, if suppose Amok brother or maybe Manav also, if he has this aspiration of visiting Northeast and exploring all the unexplored places, so it will be in a way my achievement also. Like, because of my interaction, maybe we are getting to see some changes, right? So that's what. Let's see. But it should be done very quickly. That's what I hope. That's what. Right.
Yeah.
We have so many good places like Dubki, and Dubki is really beautiful.
Right.
Shillong is so beautiful. Arunachal is amazing, and even in Tripura we have Unukoti and many places.
Right.
That's really nice, and even our musical taste is very awesome. We have one of the greatest bands from North.
Very much true. Very much
cool.
Right.
Totally Metallica, and even I'm a pretty heavy metal fan. And
right. I think I have seen your videos a lot many times, Amok brother. Means, but I don't know. Surprisingly, I don't happen to give comments in Facebook. This is my habit nowadays. But really, I do enjoy your videos. Means I have been following.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
And I think you should keep it up. I mean, taking considerations of the present lockdown times. Right.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. I'm really obliged. So, sir, one more thing, like I've seen from your bio, that is, besides academic, you are also very much interested in adventures like mountaineering and rock climbing.
Yes.
And you have also done some courses on that, right?
Right.
So,
Very much. Right.
How these activities also make you involved in your career and everything? Because that's really cool. To be honest,
this information I got from my father, actually. I mean, he attended those mountaineering courses at first. So I will say that these are his traits, which I think I have been inherited with, right? So the first mountaineering course I did when I was way back in class 6 or class 5, I guess. So that was in Assam, in Guwahati, right? So that was my first mountaineering course, where we were all acquainted with all the mountain climbing techniques. So it was a rock climbing training we had back there. So from that point onwards, this thing came up to my mind. Like, means I think it's good to be adventurous. I think sometimes it's good to skip classes also. At times it's good to lie with parents or to your teachers and your faculties also, and go out for a trip. That's what I believe, to be very honest. But now being a professional, I think I'm bound by the limitation, so I can't do that now. It's a very pity for me. But for the students, till the time I was a student, I used to indulge in such kind of adventures actually. And back in 2014, when I was in my BTech, so what I did was, instead of coming back to my home, I went to Kashmir. I went to Kashmir for a month-long course on mountaineering. So that was rock climbing as well as, ice climbing also. So back then in 2014, the entire Jammu and Kashmir, the condition was as such that you won't be able to use your SIM cards. You won't be able to use your phone networks. So whatever has to be done, it has to be a postpaid SIM, or it has to be some SIM that is being issued from the Jammu and Kashmir authority. So for the entire 1 month, I happened to talk only once or twice with my parents, but rest of the times from the morning till the late night, we were all indulged in the mountaineering courses. So there I happened to meet lots of people from the entire states of India, to be very honest. I did spend some quality 30 days of my life, to be very honest, which I will never forget. So I did my mountaineering in Jawahar Institute of Mountaineering and Winter Sports. It's in Pahalgam. Right.
Yes.
It's in Pahalgam.
Yeah.
So Pahalgam is a very good spot for film shootings. I must say it's very good for film shootings. And once you visit, I think you will be thrilled. You will be enthralled by the scenic beauty it has to offer. And from Pahalgam, we shifted towards Sonmarg, which is a couple of kilometers, handsome kilometers away from Srinagar, and it's very much near to Kargil. So in Sonmarg, we are having this high altitude warfare school, which is called as HOS. It's being governed by the Indian Army, of course. So what they offer is, they are offering the mountain warfare or the high altitude training to the defense forces. So not only to the Indian Army, it's for the armies of the US also, UK also, Russia, Mongolia. Lots of nations are sending they're nominating their platoon, their troops to mountain warfare. And through itself, the same place, we also used to have a training there. So that was very amazing experience I had back then. And we used to have our winter climbing, our ice climbing training also. We got to see the glaciers also. We got to hear some sad stories also, how avalanches have created huge loss to the forces as well as to the trainers also. And we were in the supervision of Everesters, people who have conquered or who have submitted Everests. So one instructor was there. I think he has submitted the Everest twice or thrice. Can you just imagine? So the highest peak on world, right? The highest peak on the world, he has submitted it twice or thrice. And you will be very surprised to see them. The way they are walking, or the way they're climbing on the mountains, it's like as if they're just running like a child. The baby, how they run in the household, right? In the house premises. So that's how they run. Just they have a grasp of the rope, and they're just climbing off, just like a Spider-Man, to be very honest. You'll be surprised.
That's superheroes, actually.
Right. Then lots of trekking expeditions we have taken in. So I won't say numerous, but a few of them we have went for. The treks which I've told. So it was a good experience so far. Till the time I was a student, life was good. But recently I was planning on a solo ride to Ladakh. Since I am based in Jalandhar right now, so going to Ladakh was very much easy for me. It's an easy option for me. So I did have this thought in mind, but unfortunately, again, Corona forced me to come back home now.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's a very long way from Ladakh to all the way to Jorhat now. So it's very complicated for me.
It's every youngster's dream to be a ride to Ladakh on a bike.
Right. That's right. Nowadays, Ladakh aspiration has grown up, it has spiked up, just like anything, right?
Yeah. So moving on to the last and the concluding
All
question.
plan to buy courses.
Right. So moving on to the last and the concluding question. So what would be your message to the budding petroleum engineers of the India?
Okay, so this is one tricky question, Manav, to be very honest. Like, what message should I be giving to the budding petroleum engineers?
Yeah.
Because, means in India, very well, I think you will agree also to some extent. Like, in India, like, we started having an impression or an understanding. Like, if you're having a GATE score, like, you are qualified to be called as an engineer. And unfortunately, if you're not having a GATE, means if you're not qualified GATE, then maybe you might not be as qualified as an engineer. That's what people are having as this understanding, I suppose, right? Means because many a times after discussions or after some heated arguments also at times, this is what I have come to understand. But see, what I believe in is, let's grasp the basics, the foundations which are required. The foundations can be through the numericals also, but I believe, what I believe is, better than numericals, it's good to have the basic, understanding of the theoretical concepts, I guess, because nowadays you see, resources are very limited, opportunities are very limited. So we can't just rely on GATE also, we can't just rely on the arithmetic solving skills, neither we can rely only on the basic theoretical approaches. So we shouldn't be having a conventional approach now. That means I have pursued petroleum engineering, or maybe petroleum downstream engineering also. So my likeness or my conclusion of my life or the tip of my triangle will be in an oil and gas sector only, right? So now the things have to change. Only then we petroleum engineers, very specifically, because you have seen the notifications also. As ONGC floats out the advertisement, you see that lots of mechanical engineers are in demand. Lots of civil engineers are being called on, right? Electrical engineers, right? And basic sciences people are also being called on. But in comparison to those, the petroleum engineers are getting a very less chances of opportunities there, right? So in a way, people are they feel that they are being rejected, right? They are being like overlooked at times. So this is what we shouldn't be having in our minds, to be very honest. First of all is, we should be following our news. We should be following the industry news, or whatever the happenings is like going on in the industry. So based on that, we should be having a perspective actually. Because we know very well that the industry is completely surviving on the crude oil prices, right? Or on the geopolitics, right? So based on that, we might be expanding the opportunities. The companies might be expanding the number of vacancies they are having currently, or they might be shrinking to some minimal amount, right? So that is what we need to understand actually. And like, expecting a job just after completing 4 years of degree is somewhat a joke, to be very honest, right? Because you can't just expect a job just after pursuing 4 years of degrees, right? Because people are there who are staying as jobless from a long time also, right? Because as and when the recession starts to happen, the youngsters are being kicked out, or maybe the ones which are very young, or the ones which are lagging, or they are falling behind, they're being kicked out. So we have to compete against them also, because they are having the experience, so that counts actually. So that is what I would say. Like, let's not stick to the petroleum jobs only. Let's divert our attention towards machine learning also, or towards coding, right? Or towards what to say nowadays, artificial intelligence, or like smart field technologies have come up, right? So that's where we can start investing our minds, our dedications, or it can be in the business aspects. Startup is a common culture right now. So startup is nothing new. So maybe on startups, there might be an issue for the investments, but ideas can be floated out to the investors. So that can be done, right? And if suppose still R&D is always there, but again, it depends how India is spending on the R&D principles, right? Or how they are spending, or how they're investing on the R&D institutes. So that is a concerning factor currently, because we are having some premier institutes of oil and gas engineering, but still we are not having that much of support in terms of R&D. So that is a concern which we should be having is. And likewise, first of all, we should be optimistic. That's it. And to conclude, we should be optimistic. We should not be demotivating ourselves. Like, पिछले साल तो प्लेसमेंट ही नहीं हुआ, what will we do now? Or like last time some company came last year, they didn't come, maybe this time also they won't be coming. So those kind of thinkings we might be having, those kind of sessions which we might be having, we need to discard it. So that's what I'll suggest to my youngsters actually, because we should be prepared. We should be prepared.
Definitely.
Because nowadays IT jobs are lot many numbers, and IT and automation is very rapidly replacing the manual interventions, be it in the oil and gas industry or in any other works, in any other departments also. So that's what means. Options are many, but it depends how we start exploring them. Right. Over to you, Manav and Amok Datta.
Thanks a lot, sir, for this wonderful talk, wonderful session. Actually, we got the scope to learn from various point of views. We have very limited range right now during the lockdown days because we are not exposed
Very
to
much true.
we are not exposed to experts. We're not exposed to our seniors completely, and this type of session enrich our knowledge so much. And I would really like to thank you from the core of my heart with that.
Thank
And
you.
we'd
Thank you,
look
Amok Datta.
forward to meet you even more.
Thank you.
So I would conclude our session like that only. So stay safe, stay happy, and stay at home.